Hello viewers, welcome back to the Moose Mobile Auto Repair channel, and today I'm going to be replacing the oil pan and the gasket on this 2009 Pontiac Vibe GT. It has a 2.4 liter two-way ZFE engine, and this is the same exact engine that you would be able to find in most Toyota vehicles, such as the Matrix, the Camry, Highlander, Scion TC, and so forth. So anyhow, I'm replacing the oil pan because the old one is rusted and it's leaking a little bit. So I'm gonna be showing you on how to replace it today. Now I have the actual gasket for the oil pan because I normally don't like to use silicone on stuff unless I really need to. So I found that there was a gasket available for it, so I'm just going to go ahead and just use that. Now the manufacturers, they didn't use a pre-made gasket because it was cheaper for them to just use the silicone stuff when the vehicle was on the assembly line and when they assembled the engine together. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of using a silicone unless I absolutely have to use it and need to use it. Okay, let's get started. We're going to jack the vehicle up. So I'm not gonna get the vehicle high enough with this thing, so I use the jack over there. We'll put a few jack stands under. So first things first, before you even start the job, you want to pull out the dipstick at least halfway out, or take it all the way out, because when you install a new oil pan, if you don't take this dipstick out, it will get stuck. Either it will get stuck when you install a new pan, or you can bend and break the dipstick. So the next thing you want to do is you want to drain the engine oil. If you haven't changed the oil in a long time, then you just want to drain the oil and change the filter and put new oil after you install the new pan. But I just changed this oil recently, so I'm gonna drain it. I'm gonna leave the oil filter because it's still new. You want to make sure that you are doing this on a cold engine. You don't want to do this on a warm or on a hot engine, because the bolts going into the block is aluminum. So you want to wait until the engine has cooled down. And just for safety's sake, if you want, you can disconnect the negative terminal of the battery. So it will prevent anybody from starting the engine as you are working on the job. So after you're done draining the oil, reinstall the drain plug. So now there are a total of 14 bolts. So I'm gonna crack open each one individually, and once I get them loose, I'm gonna use a cordless ratchet to take all of them out. This is a 10 millimeter. I'm using a quarter ratchet with an extension and a 10 millimeter deep socket. If you notice, there's two 10 millimeter nuts that go on the stud. There's one here, and there's one in the back here, I think. There's one here, and there's one in the back right here. You guys can't see one here and one here that will hold the pan in place when you're installing the new one. There's a considerable amount of rust in this corner here. To get the one back here, probably gonna have to use a wrench or maybe a smaller socket. The exhaust is in the way a little bit. There's the 3 bolts here. A little bit hard to get because the exhaust is in the way. And it's leaking a little bit. There's rust. So all thanks to the engineers. The stupid exhaust is in the way, but I don't think you need to remove it. There's the 3 bolts here that are the hardest to get to, so I'm gonna see if I can get it out with just a ratchet and a socket. You want to be very careful that when you grab onto these bolts, that you don't round off the bolts, because then you're just going to run into more problems. But as soon as you get the bolts off, everything should be easy. Because in some instances, I've seen sometimes where some of the bolts break, and you're gonna have a lot of problems, and you will need to drill it out and stuff. So you don't want to run into that. It's not very fun. Now I'm gonna try the other guy here. To wiggle it, socket in there. A lot of rust. It's falling down there. That's loose. Hopefully it's going to be a fun day today. I'm gonna get the last sucker out here, hiding in the corner. These bolts are not on very tight. These bolts, the torque spec are only 80 foot-pounds. Sorry, 80 inch-pounds. So that's about 6.667 foot-pounds, rounded up to 7 foot-pounds. So it's not on very tight. these bolts don't take a lot of torque. I wasn't very comfortable having this oil pan on the vehicle for too long because of the rust and stuff. I don't want to lose oil, so I'd rather replace it than to be sorry. Using my hands now to get the bolt out by hand. And we're going to work on the harder ones first. Get them out first before we remove the easy ones. Grab yourself a bin or something. Put it in here. Or a magnetic tray or on whatever you have on hand. My hand to get it out. So, to loosen it. Fingers. Two out of 14 bolts out. This is the third one. So we're going to use pour this ratchet to remove the oil pan bolts here. This oil pan job is not too difficult. I watch a lot of Eric O from South Main Auto, so I wouldn't even say that this is anywhere close to Eric O level of difficulty. This one is a piece of cake. So anyhow, I'm gonna get this out. All these bolts. Where's the other dudes hiding here? Get these guys out of here. With my camera again. Ah. Take off the extension here because it's getting in the way of the camera for you guys to see. There's one there. The change to the extension now. The camera is getting in the way every now and then. So. Use the screwdriver, slotted screwdriver. Hit it with a hammer several times just to get under there to break the seal, and then the oil pan will come free. Make sure you have the drain pan ready to catch any of the leftover oil that may be inside. So you want to make sure you clean the surfaces with SCOTCH-BRITE sandpaper on the engine and remove the old gasket material. Want to inspect the pickup screen if there's any dirt or debris. This engine seems like a very clean engine. So we are replacing the oil pan, so there's no need to clean the old one. We're just going to put the new one on. So now I have both oil pans on the bench. I have the new one here and the old one here. So make sure you compare the old oil pan to the new oil pan. Just make sure everything is the same. The bolt holes are the same. And and look how deep the pan is in comparison to the old one. Make sure everything is all the same. And so now the Fel-Pro manufacturer, they left me with some RTV, silicone RTV, but I'm not going to use that today. I have the pre-made gasket that they provided me in the package, so I'm going to use that. So now I'm gonna be using the Permatex copper spray gasket. I'm gonna spray it onto the surface here, and then I'm gonna put this gasket on top just to hold it in place. So now I'm going to spray here the copper stuff. Now you want to install the gasket. You want to line up all of the holes here. And some brake cleaner. And just clean the inside. I don't want to spray it a little bit too much. So once you got this all cleaned up, you're all ready to go. And you can see here all the rust. I don't know if that was a surface rust or not, but I didn't want to have this on this vehicle, so I replaced it. And now let's have a moment of silence for the old oil pan. So now, and what you want to do is you want to take a razor blade of some sort, and you want to scrape all the old gasket out. You want to clean everything off. It's not exactly a fun job because it's a messy job because of the oil. So once you're done with the razor blade, now you want to use a piece of the Scotch Brite 3M Scotch Brite sandpaper. This is specifically for aluminum. So you want to clean the surface down to the bare metal until all the old material is all gone. Now, I know earlier I wanted to be careful not to damage the aluminum because that's going to damage the surface. So you have to be careful when you get the old oil pan off. You need to be careful to not damage the aluminum surface here, because then there'll be an issue with the sealing. So you want to go around the entire circumference on the engine to clean all the old gasket material. And then later we are going to clean the bolts. We're going to clean the rust on the studs, and we're going to clean and wash down the bolts. So now once you're done cleaning everything, you want to wash everything down with brake cleaner and wipe everything down before you install the new oil pan. You also want to spray brake cleaner in all of the holes to get the leftover excess silicone that was left there previously. So after I finished grinding all the bolts down and cleaning the rust and the leftover silicone, I spray some brake cleaner inside here. And I use a towel here, shop towel, and shake this a little bit. You can see all the dirt here and here. I wasn't able to clean 100%. I tried to get most of the silicone off. So now we're just gonna clean the stud here and the stud in the back here. Just clean a little bit of the rust down carefully. I don't want to go too overboard. I just want to clean a little bit of the rust, and that's it. So now we're going to do a final wipe down. Make sure to get rid of all of the oil. Then we're going to install the oil pan. Make sure the surfaces are clean. There's no dirt or debris or anything in the way. Hopefully this gasket does not leak on me. So now we are ready to install the oil pan. Just grabbing the bolts here. To line up the holes. Install the nuts, 2 nuts. Before you install and tighten the bolts up, you want to put all of them in first before you start to tighten anything up. Now the last 3 here behind the exhaust. I'm going to do with the last three behind the exhaust here. I don't want to use the cordless ratchet because there's a chance that if you even over tighten it a tiny bit is going to distort the gasket. So I want to do everything by hand and then torque each bolt if possible for each one to 7 foot-pounds, which is about 80 inch-pounds. Just gonna tighten each one a tiny bit at a time, and then torque each one. Just gonna tighten this a tad bit till it's snug. Try to do each one a little bit. This one, the three here in the back beside the exhaust are the hardest to do because the pipe is in the way. So I have this set at 80 inch-pounds. So I'm gonna torque each one. Service information doesn't show the torquing procedure, so I'm just gonna work in a star pattern, crisscross shape, and evenly tighten each bolt. seems to work. And I'm gonna try to torque each one now. 80 inch-pounds. That's 80 inch-pounds right there. It's not very tight at all. Hard to get down to these, but seems to work when you use the U-joint. And the last one here. I'm just gonna torque each one now. Make sure all of them are all torqued. Go through each one. Make sure all of them are torqued. Just having a look at the drain bolt just to make sure everything is okay. So just having a look at the bolt and the gasket. And screw it back in. Everything seems to look okay so far. Hopefully it doesn't leak after I put the oil back in. That's my only concern. Making sure everything's all tight. So now I'm gonna put the new oil in. I have to screw this on. Okay. Now I'm going to put the oil in. Winter is approaching now, so I'm using 0W20. This car takes either 020 or 520. I usually put 520, and now I'm putting 020 because of the winter time. So I'm going to put some oil here. This engine takes about 4.25 liters, but I have the oil filter still on, so probably put like 4 liters in and go from there. Install the dipstick. Make sure there's oil in it. And before I start this engine, I'm going to disable the fuel and crank the engine over a little bit because this engine hasn't been started in maybe like 2 or 3 weeks. So I want to get the oil to circulate because I don't want to damage anything. And I know that sometimes when you're doing stuff like engine replacement, you don't want to start the vehicle right away. You want to get the oil to circulate first before the engine starts. Otherwise, there's a possibility that the timing chain can jump, and you don't want that to happen. So I'm going to disable the fuel, and then I'm going to crank it over. I'm going to go to the fuse box here. Disable the fuse for the EFI. EFI 1, EFI 2. You can just disable the EFI main, which is a 20 amp fuse down here. EFI main. It's a 20 amp. Here, I don't know if you guys can see that on camera. EFI main at the bottom right. I'm going to crank the engine over for maybe like 10 or 15 seconds at a time, and then after that I'll start the engine and double check for leaks. Have a look at the oil level. The car is tilted right now, so because I still want to check for leaks. I'm gonna adjust the level accordingly as soon as I can once I check for leaks and everything is okay. Now I'm going to crank the engine over again. So now reinstall the fuse. And start the engine. So now just make sure there's no leaks. Have a look to see if there's any leaks, and then go for a road test. Make sure there's no leaks, everything is okay, and go for a road test after that. So after you have the vehicle running, just make sure there's no leaks, and when you're all good to go, wash down the area, and then go for a road test and recheck for leaks if there's any. You want to make sure there's no leaks, so go for a road test and then come back and put it up in the air and have a look at it again, and then that's it. You're all good to go, and then adjust the oil level if necessary. Now I forgot to mention that the good thing about these gaskets is that there's no curing time, because for silicone on some of them you have to wait an hour or two or up to 24 hours until the silicone cures, and before you're able to put the engine oil in it. So that's the one reason as to why I use the pre-made gaskets, because I don't want to wait for the silicone to cure. I want to put it in and return the vehicle to service as soon as possible. That's it for today. I hope you learned something new. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day and take care.